Hello, welcome pen friends. This is my Levenger Collector's Lock and Key Inlay pen case box that was gifted to me from pen friend Shirlee. And I promised everybody after I had mentioned this, we had discussion, in the comments, I promised that I would come back with a video where I talked about which 40 pens I would pick as my top favorite, because I do have a large collection. My collection goes over 200 pens right now, with about 50% of them having been gifted to me over the last 9 years. So what I wanted to do, I'm not ready to review the box yet, because I'm still really kind of getting to know it, and I've made room for it in my library room on a table desk that I have in there. And if you have seen my video about the library room, you'll see kind of where it is, because it's on that only desk that I have in here. And I love it here. It's cleaner in this room because really in that kind of business area there where my actual pen desk is, I do a lot of ink splattering. And also I have a litter box to the left of me there, and it's like, no, I don't want the litter dust on this one. And I'm being real protective of it, I guess. So what I'm going to do today is just go through the 40 pens that made the box. That I did this over a couple weeks because it was tough. It was really easy in maybe the top drawer, and then it was still pretty easy on the second drawer. Then it got harder, because it really got harder when I started to narrow down. Wow, seriously, only 40, but yet it was really fun. So I want to take you along on that. And then when we get done, stick around, because at the end I've got some stats for you. Like, I have counted up how many of these are piston fillers, how many are cartridge converter, how many are eyedropper, how many were gifted to me, and the percentages, of how many I purchased. It's really kind of fascinating. It was to me anyway. So big thank you to pen friend Shirlee for sending this box. I absolutely love it. And it just, it makes my library room really classy. So I know I'm going to have to adjust the camera as we go. And I will explain what's going on with all these, braces. I've had an interesting last week, but anyway, I'm fine. Don't worry, but I have things protected so that I don't restrain these problems that I've got. Anyway, here we go for the top part. And let's see. I think we're pretty good for the top, but I'll try to pull out each pen and show you. Okay, so number one is the Pelikan M800 with the fine nib, and this was gifted to me. And it is it's probably the smoothest writer I have. And of course, it's a piston filler with a gold nib. So it gets the #1 spot, and I'm not surprised by that. Okay, and then next up is the TWSBI Diamond 580 in Iris. And this is the piston filler one, not the vacuum filler. And it has a broad nib, and it's one of my favorites. In fact, in the beginning, I didn't like the Diamond 580s as much as the Ecos, and maybe that's still true, but I'm getting used to the grip on this one, and I like it. So, it's really, really pretty. So, and I think more than one of the Diamond 580s, I don't have very many, I think I have 4, but more than one made the box. So that's like, wow, that tells you something, right? So then next up is my Lamy 2000. Again, this is a pen that I've really gotten friendly with and used to. It's got a broad nib that's kind of like a stub nib, a really rounded stub nib, which took me by surprise at first. Whoops, I don't know if that's in focus, because it's not quite like the other Lamy broad nibs. They're very rounded, but I love this for letter writing, and I write with it quite a bit. In fact, it's seldom not in rotation. I mean, I use it a lot. I just cleaned it out, so I'm thinking about what I'm going to put in it next. I'm thinking it's probably even going to be inked up for October. So, and not all of these pens are inked up right now. You can see the ink in some of them, and so you can tell that some of them are. This is the TWSBI Draco with a medium nib that was tuned specially, and I'm completely blank on the name of the girl that did it. She used to be at Apple Boom, so that'll tell you something, and I'll be embarrassed for the rest of, until I get over to my desk where I can see where I wrote it down. But anyway, it's got a gorgeous, nice, juicy medium writer, and this was a pen friend gift as well. So this was like my grail pen that I had missed out on, you know, and so it came into my world just about a month or so ago, and I love it. So obviously it made the top tray. And then this is my favorite Lamy that isn't the Lamy 2000. It's the Vista with a broad nib, and it's my second one. The first one I wore off the Lamy, and I stained it with, you know, like Noodler's King Philip Requiem and some other staining pens. So I was really bummed, and I wanted a nice looking Lamy Vista to continue with, and I still keep that other one going because there are inks I'm unsure of. So this makes the top tray, even though it's not in the same price range as some of these. So obviously my collection is real varied. So, okay, so then next up, this is my favorite of the Moonman Mini, so it has to make the box. I do have an Opus 88 broad nib on this one. It's the purple Swirl, and I love this pen. You know, it's an eyedropper pen, and it's got a great like ink capacity, but it's super comfortable to write with whenever I post it, which all of my writing activities are hampered by my little I don't know whether to call them injuries or just, I don't know. I really don't. I'll talk about that later. But anyway, once you get it like this, you can really go to town if you're not me. But this week anyway. Things are getting better though, so I can't complain. Okay. Next up is my favorite Kaweco, which is this little Kaweco Sport in Mellow Blue, which was gifted to me. This is the tribute pen for Willie, my cat that passed away. He was a very young cat who got extremely sick. But anyway, this has a double broad, and I just reach for it all the time. It's the best Kaweco writer that I have, and there's another one that's going to turn up. So there's two Kaweco pens in my 40 pen box, so that's really cool. I think it says something about the double broad nibs. And then next up is my favorite Lamy Safari, which is the dark lilac one, which is the first one I got, I think. I probably got the Vista first, but then as far as the out-and-out Safari, and I don't even know what nib, okay, I have a fine nib on it right now, and that goes really well like with the dark lilac, the new or the old, because they're very saturated. I often do have a broad nib on this one though. Okay, and then next up is, none of these are going to be foreign to anybody who watches my channel, but I think it's still fascinating that I could go from 200 to 40 somehow, as far as, you know, these are the ones that I would want to take out the door with me. The pen box is a little heavy to take, but I've got that covered too if I have time. Oh my goodness, let's stick to the pens. Okay, so this is the TWSBI Eco transparent purple with a broad nib that I like transplanted from another Eco, and I have to have this inked up all the time. It's super smooth, and it's my favorite color, which is purple, and well, purple and magenta kind of compete with me, but I really love this one. Okay, and then next up is the Nemesine Singularity, and I think this is coral. It may have a little more. Let's see if I wrote it down. No, I just wrote down coral. I think there's a fine nib on it right now. Oh no, it's got the Goulet broad. It came with a fine nib. That may be why that was written down that way, if I got it right off the inventory. But this is one of my favorite pens. It's comfortable. And also, I just love I have a fine Nemesine nib, and I have a 0.8 stub that I often have on this one. That's a Nemesine, actual branded Nemesine nib, and this is the, you know, the number 6 nib. I also have some little number 5 Nemesine nibs. They're super good nibs. And I think you can still get some of the sizes from Birmingham pens, but I'm not sure. Okay, so that's the first 10. And, you know, I don't know if it's exactly, but I will tell you, and then the doors open, of course, and I had to put my books kind of back just a little bit so that the doors would open, because you have to have them all the way open to pull your drawers open. And I think this first drawer No, we're still gonna, I'm gonna adjust just slightly so we can see that first drawer. Okay, because I can do that. I can just kind of, I got a bracket here, but let's see, what was I saying? Okay, so the top 20, I'm sure are the top 20 for sure, but maybe not in order, except I did kind of feel like the Pelikan M800 gets the top spot. I mean, I love that pen. It's not exactly a pen I'm going to be able to collect, obviously. It's out of my price range, but I'm really super happy to have one. Okay, so down here we've got the, I call this my Edward pen. And this is the Benu Euphoria in Vodka on the Rocks. And I had eyed it forever. And finally I decided the reason I really wanted it so bad was because, you know, it's kind of shiny. It picks up a bunch of different colors. And it's what I would call neutral, because I feel like I could put any ink color in this. And I did get it with a broad nib. And I'm looking at, every month I say this, and every time I get pen ad money, I kind of bump it along. But I'm going to get a medium nib unit for these eventually, a number 6 medium, because there's some inks that I do better with a medium nib. I can't really say that about fine nib unless it's like for a black ink for a planner, and we'll get to that because we got some in here. Okay, then this is my favorite Genhao X750. It's the pink one, and I know I have a broad nib on it. In fact, it's still, I'm sure it's still, yeah, it's got some pink ink in it. Still inked up. It's got the Yowo broad nib that came over from Pensive Pens, and I adore this one. I also really love the stainless steel one, but I'm kind of into magenta inks, so the pink one is my very favorite. Okay, and then next up is the Opus 88 Coloro in red, and I think that's a broad nib as well, and it's inked up too still. Yep, there's that little ink splatter on the end of the nib. You could see it's got what has it got in it? Autumn. Mercy, goodness gracious, get me away from my little charts and I don't know what I got. I'll think of it. But it's my favorite fall ink. Autumn and, wait a minute. No, Algonquin Maple. What is wrong with me? There's 2 of their inks, the Ferris Wheel Press, that it kind of evoke my memory, but I get them all twisted up. So this has a broad nib on it, and I love it. It's an eyedropper pen. So it's one of my top favorite of the Opus pens. And then I can't believe it, but this Schneider Ray makes my top 20. I love this pen. It is so smooth and so comfortable to write with. It's got what they call, I guess, a medium nib, but I call it a medium broad because it's real juicy. I mean, it would compete with my broad TWSBIs, most of them, except for I've got a couple that are super broad, but I love this pen. And okay, I forgot to tell you guys, when I started doing this, I just sat down with my little clipboard and I just started by memory. I told myself, I'm going to sit here and kind of meditate on what are my favorite pens, and I'm going to go as far as I can without even looking, without going to get into my pen cases to say, okay, which one? And I got quite a ways. I really did. I got up to maybe 27 before I had to kind of consider more carefully, like, what else is left to choose from? You know what I mean, right? So that was fun. I mean, if nothing else, this was super fun. So next up is a very new acquisition for me. It's the Majon, I guess I might as well call it that, although they print Moonman right on it, so if I make a mistake and say that, I don't think I'm going to get in any trouble. This is a beautiful piston filler with a number 8 medium nib, which writes like a broad nib. So it's a giant, really happy looking nib. Oh my gosh. And it's so smooth. So I hope it stays that way. I hope I take great care of it. You know, it's a little more expensive than some of the Chinese pens that I've purchased, but it's worth every penny as far as I'm concerned. And this just screams fall or autumn. And I think all the way through like November, I'd feel like it was so appropriate for the season. Okay, and then this one I got before, quite a bit before, and it was a pen friend gift. This is well, this is printed Moonman as well, but probably if you go look for it, you ought to look for a Majon P136. This was the P139. I can't remember whether I said that because I'm getting all excited here, but this has a medium nib, and it's, you know, Moonman. Yeah, a Moonman, okay. Okay, let's erase that all the way back because this is a Moonman. It has nothing to do with, yes, it does. They're both Moon. I don't know what I'm trying to think of. That May-John business messes me up. I'm not going to edit this out. This is just me. This is what you get, I guess. It's not filled. It's a piston filler. Doesn't have any ink in it right now. What I was trying to think was, how come this one isn't an actual number 6 nib and this one's a number 8? And I know they make them with number 6, but I think this is, maybe this is a number 6 nib. I just ran into a mental barrier where I can't think of, is this interchangeable with other number 6 nibs? I can't recall. And I don't know that I ever knew, because this, again, this was a gift to me, and I just started writing with it, and right out of the package, it's just so smooth. You know, I fell for it, and it definitely makes my top 20. So here we go. I sound like it. I think it trips me up that I want to call them Moonmen because it's easier. I came into the hobby and it was Moonman this, Moonman that. So, and I'd rather stick with that. But I guess, you know, I was trying to stick with whatever we could find easier when we go looking. Okay, this is the Opus 88 Omar. It's kind of an oversized pen. It's my favorite, along with the Coloro. So these two are my two top Opus 88s. Oops, my ring is like twisting around. And it has a broad nib on it. And I just love this pen. It's a tank. It's like at least 3 mil go in it. And it's smooth and it never dries out for me. You can open your little ink, whatever it is. I can't think of that either right now. I get all excited when I start looking at pens, and I think that's half of it. The other half, forget it. I don't know. That's going to drive me crazy. I'll blurt it out in the middle of something else, probably. Okay, so next up, I guess this is pen 17. Yeah, 18, 19. No, 18, 19, 20. Yeah. Okay, so this is a Karas Custom. I think it's, I better look at my list. V2 in extra fine. And it is so smooth. Plus, this particular pen, an extra fine, it writes a lot more to me like a nice medium. So it's a really nice metal pen. It's a little heavy, but I never have any problem with the grip except for these couple of days here where I'm having a little issue. But I love this pen. And even though it's an extra fine, I really love it. Oh, and there was another pen that almost made the box. And it probably should. I'm still kind of grappling, but I think we'll talk about that at the end if I can remember. If it was a live audience, I could say, please remind me to talk about the Sailor 1911, the blue one. Because I think that one should have made the box, and it didn't. Okay, this is the Hongdian N23. Yeah, N23, and it has a blade nib that is just super smooth. And this was like my 60th birthday pen. It's the year of the rabbit pen, and I really, really love this one. I take real good care that it doesn't get crashed up against anything else. So definitely this one made the pen box too. Okay, then next is, we started with a Euphoria and we're ending with a Euphoria on this pen tray. So this is the Benu Euphoria Pink Champagne. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. I think so, yeah. It's a Gold Spot exclusive, and it's got a broad nib. And, you know, I can't get over the fact that I had that mental barrier where I could have just ordered a medium nib unit and swapped them between the two, like I do with the smaller number 5 one. But live and learn. That's something I would suggest if you're ending up collecting, you know, 2 or 3 of these. You could try out different nib sizes. You don't have to be like me and just keep getting the broad ones, because you can always really easily take them out. Okay, so we're going to go to the 3rd drawer now, and we'll see how much adjustment. Okay, just a little bit more adjustment. Okay, here we are. I just want you to be able to see. Whoops. flew out. Okay, so you can see we're starting right out with a whole bunch of TWSBI Ecos. So this one is a TWSBI Eco T in Rosso with a broad nib, and I just love this color, and it goes with so many of my favorite, like, I'm thinking of the Pilot, nope, I can't give you the name. I'm thinking of it, but I haven't had that bottle all that long, but I just love this. And that Fortune Red one, the Kobe one, inks that are in that flaming red color, I just love it for this pen. And I settled on, even though I do have a few that are medium nibs, and I like them for their purpose, but I really like these three, I'm sure, are the broad. So this one is a TWSBI Eco, the regular one, with, it's cerulean blue, and it has a broad nib. And again, it's just one of my favorite colors, so I can put those turquoise inks in it. Excuse me. Okay, next up is another TWSBI Eco T. I don't really discriminate. I don't really, notice much huge difference between the grip at all. And I generally have a real easy time switching grip to grip. And I think this is a broad. Yeah, this is a broad nib. This is Eggplant, I think. Yeah, this is the one that's Eggplant, and I love it. So I like to be able to do color matching, especially in the colors that I really like. And now that I have the broad nib on the clear one, which the clear one is another one that probably should have made the box. This is almost an impossible kind of exercise, but you who love fountain pens, you know that. We do the best we can, and then next day it might be something different. Okay, so this is the TWSBI Eco regular. But it's rose gold and black, and I have a medium nib on this one, which I like a lot because I've got several journals that I'd really rather write with a medium nib. So yeah, I don't always want to be locked into a broad nib in a TWSBI. So next up is the TWSBI Eco regular in I guess it's just plain yellow. Otherwise I mixed it up, and it has a broad nib, and this has my Faber-Grafton Faber-Castell Stone Gray, and it's attached to my bullet journal when it's not in the box. Okay, so pretty much regular. I've been using it a long time. I use the Leuchtturm with a 120 GSM paper, and that broad nib with that ink is perfect for it. Okay, here is another. Let me make sure I got the right one. Yeah, this is the TWSBI Eco Rose Gold and White. And it has a medium nib, and I love to see a brown ink in this one. I don't know what it is about a white pen. It just says brown to me, or something in that brown gold kind of family. So those two are both very nice for that kind of thing, for journals and where I don't want to have it so broad. Okay, next up, one of my favorite nibs, and this is the Hongdian Black Forest with a Fude nib. You've seen it a lot in my collection if you've been on this channel very much at all. I love it. And I have another one too, but I think and this was gifted to me. Oh, I kind of fell off the wagon with saying about that. I'm going to have to put that in the description, because I'm going to do a rather thorough description if I can type, or when I can type. And I'm pretty sure I can. This stuff is in place to help me not stress on it. Okay, so next up is the TWSBI Swipe with, and I don't use this as much, but for some reason, if I had to narrow it down to 40, I wanted it in here. So it's just it's got a broad nib. I love how easy it is to clean these. You could use, and that's probably what it's all about. If I was testing out one that I wasn't too sure might stain or might really give trouble in cleaning, this is super good for that. And plus it's like turquoise, and it's gorgeous. It's a really pretty pen. It's really the only one of the three that I ended up getting that I liked. I didn't like the smoke one, and maybe I didn't get three. Trying to think what else there was. Maybe it's just these two. I don't remember. Isn't that funny? Well, with over 200 pens, it gets nuts. Okay, so next up is the TWSBI Diamond 580 in, I think there might be more to it than just rose Red Rose. Okay, I wrote down Red Rose. I'm hoping that's correct. And I think right now I have a medium nib unit in it, but I have the broad nib unit for this. And I really like this one. You know, it gives me that red or burgundy option with this, you know, nice demonstrator. So there ended up being 2 Diamond 580s, which is a change. You know, lately I've just bonded more with those. Okay, then next up, pen number 30 it's a Pilot 78G. I don't know why I want to call it 68. I have no idea. But it's a 78G. Pen friend Marilyn sent this, and it has an extra fine nib. And it is the most fine nib that I have in my whole collection, but it's super smooth. So it is perfect for a Hobonichi as far as I'm concerned. And I have no idea why I don't have this inked up right now. I just think that every so often we do need to really get in our pen cases and start doing things like this and start looking at what we have, because it's almost like out of sight, out of mind. But that pen, and that was why I think he sent it to me, because I really liked it. I wanted a super fine nib, and that is. Okay, so this is the 4th drawer. I think we only need to make a slight adjustment. Yeah, a little bit so we could see it. Maybe a little shadowy. I'm sorry about that. Oh, my head is in the way. Oh, that's awful. I don't know that we're going to be able to do too much about that, but okay, this is the final 10 that are in here, and I'm thinking this is the Diplomat Arrow, but I didn't slow down to look this up. It's one of my last selections I made for this box. I love it because it's such a smooth writer. Not sure that it's the most comfortable grip that I have, but I love this pen. It's really, really smooth, and I've got a lot more exploring to do with it. Don't you love the sound of that? When it's turquoise, I think might be the color. And this was a pen friend gift too. Okay, and then next up is the Retro 51 Tornado Ultra something. Let's see, did I write it down? Ultraviolet. Oh, yay me, because, you know, I just can't keep, you know, hundreds of details straight. Says I have a broad nib on there. No, I don't. I have a medium nib, an Opus 88 medium. It's kind of nice because the Opus 88 number 6 nib units screw in and out of these too, so you got it made, because whatever you got for the Opuses, you can just swap them. And I enjoy that very much. And you know, this pen is very stylish. It's super nice. This was a pen friend gift too. Gosh, I'm afraid I didn't always say when it was, but we'll talk about that when I get over to my other desk more thoroughly, I think. Okay, so this was a pen friend custom made one from pen friend MS, and I have 2 pen friends with the same initials, so we don't get confused there. But this has a medium nib that was tuned by a Kirk Spear, and it's super great writer. But I love this pen. I love how balanced it feels when I write with it, and I love the pink, and so I like having a nice pink ink in it. And I will have it inked up more, because there it is. It's right on my library desk. Okay, then next up is a pen that I've been trying to find a really good ink match, because I love the nib on this. This is a Herbert Pen Company, and I think it's Goulet. Yeah, Goulet Pens and Herbert Pen Company limited edition, like, collaboration pen. And I think it has a color name, something to do with River. Oh dear, I don't have that written down, so we're screwed as far as figuring out, unless I get into my larger inventory, so I need to do that. But it has that italic stub nib on it. And there's a way to say that right. Let's see. And all I wrote down was italic, stub italic. So, but it's a really, really interesting nib. Oh, I'm sweating. I think it's because of this this little thumb brace. I am definitely up for finding its perfect ink match. And if I can't, then I can move that nib somewhere to something else, I guess. But I hate to, because that's a beautiful pen. You know, it's sparkly, it's blue, it's one of my favorite colors. Okay, so next up is one that I actually thought was going to be going somewhere until recently. This is the Conklin Duragraph Purple Nights. And I ended up putting a Goulet 1.1, I think. Let me make sure. Yeah. 1.1 black stub nib on it. And it ended up really working out well. And because I always loved the look of the pen and the color and everything, being purple, I was thrilled when I finally got a good match in there. And I'm going to have to look back to see which ink it was, because it could be that I would put another ink and not be happy with it. But I always wanted to love this pen, and now I do, so. Okay, and then we're getting almost to the end here. Next up is the Benu Scepter 1. And probably has a fine nib right now. Yeah, it has the fine number 5 nib unit on it, Schmidt, because the Briolette, the Luminous Amber, has the broad nib right now. So, but for Christmas and 4th of July, I normally change that out, and I really love this. I think a nice shimmer ink will go good in here for Christmas, you know, for like December. And then next up is the Kaweco Brass Sport. Okay, I love how this writes. I'm not thrilled about how it patinas, so I'm probably going to get the old Brasso out and like shine it up again. And I'm not sure what that's going to do wherever it sits. I don't want it to like mess anything up or it be messed up. But I love the way it writes. And it is heavy, but I still like this. This made the pen box. It just did, because I love brass. And it's a double broad. It writes super good. And I just had it inked up with that really neat, what was it, shower scum or something from Birmingham. And I thought it just needed more exploration and a polish. So that's what I plan to do. And this was, I selected it, but it was a gift card. So it was probably not a pen that I was going to take a chance on, except that I got a gift card gifted to me a couple years ago to Applebaum, and I thought, you know, everybody loves these. I want to try it, you know. So it gave me that ability to try that pen. Okay, then next up is the Opus 88 Demonstrator, which the reason I love these too is it's got a broad nib on it. This is an exclusive from, I need another pen friend to pronounce it for me, but Stylo and Style. Okay, it's S-T-I-L-O and S-T-I-L-E. Stylo and Style, but I know I'm not saying it right. It's from Italy, and it is just gorgeous. I love this. And I love it. It's green, and it's one of my few really pretty green pens. In fact, I don't really have very many, except for my Serendipity, which is coming up. But, oh, I started to tell you that what I really love about this, too, is that you could put the Pilot Parallel nib units in here. And if you're interested, Simone did a really good video. She really did a really thorough one on which pens you could put the Pilot Parallel nib units in. And then the video I really love was from Aziza at Gourmet Pens. So I usually link hers because it was specifically for this model. It, you know, just really made it easy for me to do. I didn't do it with this one. I did it with my clear one, but this is my favorite one. So it made the pen box. But I guess you could tell the other pens aren't going anywhere because they're still in my mind. So then here comes another Moonman, which I can't remember the name. I think it's like, I'm calling it Purple Nights, or Purple Night, but I'll bet you there's something wrong with that. It's Moonman Mini Wancai, and I have put in a Goulet broad nib, so it's super. And so that makes two of them, you know, the darker sparkly purple and then the purple swirl. I also like my green one and my pink one, though, so how do you decide? I don't know. I gave it a lot of thought, though. I gave it a couple weeks of thought, so... Okay, and then Serendipity. Maybe shouldn't have made the pen box because it's a dip pen, but it's like a treasure to me. And I do have, this is the Serendipity Hybrid that has the, I reviewed this and everything. It's got the regular feed and nib, and then just a little, what you'd call a reservoir, but it's just a, you know, it pulls right out, and it's just a little, you know, the more you dip it, the more ink that it draws up into it. And you can write like I don't know, I guess they say 3 pages of A5, and I've done that, so it depends on the ink. And it says on it, Serendipity, James Phineas. So it was from Pensive Pens in Australia, which they've retired now. And I love that pen. I have a little mini too, but this is a little easier to write with. Okay, so I think the rest of what I'm going to do today is going to be face-to-face over at my pen area. Hopefully my lighting over there is all preset. I tried to do that. Let me see, we'll put this back up so we can see. So I love this because everything stays nice and neat. And it's just right here in the middle of my desk with my books. And I got a bunch of writing. Right now I've got this like a really thick cardboard that came with, I think it came with the last TV we got. But because I need to paint the top of this desk and I just really wanted a nice surface. So let's head over and we'll do a little bit more talking about the stats, which I thought was just fascinating. Okay, there. Oh my goodness. That was a fun exercise. Even if, you know, it seems silly and I know that there's still many pens still on my mind. You know, I was already bringing up several of them that I was thinking, we might do a little switcheroo. We might put Serendipity back over on the desk and make a whole, you know, a parking space for a different pen. I don't know. But, it was really fun, and when I got all done, when I felt satisfied with my list of 40 and I got them all into the pen box, then what I did was I counted up how many piston fillers, and there were 13. And then I thought, well, that's a lot. But that takes into account, you know, the TWSBI Ecos, which they're piston fillers, but I'm super comfortable with them. I've gotten used to them. The piston fillers that I used to be not as comfortable with are the kind where you can't see what's going on inside. So I had this little mental block that told me, well, what if something goes wrong and I cannot see what's happening? Like, but I gotten over that. I mean, I think the Pelikan M800 helped me get over that. And I'm trying to think, there was another, and that wonderful, I'm just going to call it Moonman, the Moonman P136, because I thought, who cares? It's writing wonderful right now. Why would I want to like not use it because something might go wrong inside of it and I wouldn't know what to do? We'll cross those bridges if and when we ever get there. So, you know, that made me comfortable ordering the P139 because I haven't had any bad luck with it. And I know there's tools that I will need to get into it and fix it eventually. If I'm using them so heavy that they need to be serviced, I will have to watch videos and hope and cross my fingers that somebody has done, you know, and I bet they have. I'm thinking about, Chris Rapp 52 and also Doodlebug and some others that have done some pretty in-depth about what tools you need and how you can get them on Etsy and things like that. But right now, that's just an echo in my mind, like I'd have to go researching. But 13 making the top 40 means that I've become more and more, I think it means I've become more comfortable with the piston fillers. But the next category was cartridge converter pens, 20. So half of my pens that I ended up putting as my like most special, or the ones that I like the best, half of them are cartridge converter. And then 5 of them were eyedropper. I never did add these up. I'm going to laugh now because I never did add up to make sure it made sense. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where you're like, oh yeah, there's 13 of this, 20 of this, 5 of this. Does it add up? It doesn't look like it adds up. I think my math might have gone haywire because I'm looking at it and I'm only getting 19. So if you got a problem, Houston, somewhere here. Okay, but I guess this is going to be really close, but not quite, because eyedropper was 5 eyedroppers, and I guess that's the Moonman and the Opus 88s, right? Yeah. And then I put Kaweco could be eyedroppered. Heaven only knows what I did, but I didn't count it twice, or we would have had our 40 pens instead of 39. Okay, that's going to drive me crazy. And then 1 dip pen. And I'm still off by 1. Oh, well. You should always count and check your math. That's something I learned in the 3rd grade, but I didn't do it. So I will, I'll update you on a progress report or something, because I would bore you to death if I started trying to figure this out now. No doubt something threw that off in some way. Okay, but it was even more interesting to me when I got over onto how many pens were gifted and how many were purchased. And those numbers did come out right, I'm happy to say. Gifted were 15, so 15 of them were gifted to me, and I purchased 25 of them. So that was 36% of the pens that made my top 40 were gifted to me. And then, you know, the remaining percentage, I purchased them. And I thought to myself, well, that's pretty cool. Kind of tells me that I do pretty good with pens that I select, I guess. I don't know, though. That doesn't really tell you anything, because there are some pen cases full of other pens that didn't make it in here. So it's not super scientific. Like, you can't say much about a conclusion, but I still thought it was really interesting. And one of those gifted pens I did purchase, but I wouldn't have if I hadn't had a gift card given to me, the channel, if that makes sense. Huh. Oh, look at this. I had it all figured out that I was going to put it on neater, but I never did finish. I didn't do that. I just have the scrawly, circled, messy, but I really, really enjoyed doing this. So I hope it's given you, you know, even 5 minutes of, of entertainment or whatever, because I highly recommend it if you have a large collection. It's really started to make me think about how much happier I am with some pens than others, and this is just a beginning kind of step, I think. Now when I look in those cases and I see my Pilot Vanishing Point, I still want to love it. I just don't, you know. And so and also I was having another discussion with a pen friend recently about vac fillers. That came up, and I just don't, even though I don't like them. I don't, and that could change, because I just mentioned that I didn't used to like sealed away non-demonstrator piston fillers either, and that's changed. So that's one of the reasons maybe why I kind of hang on to things longer than I might, because I have noticed that as time goes on and I allow myself more time to try things out, it's amazing how my opinion shifts and changes over the years. Not that, you know, I don't recommend hanging on to everything you ever come in contact with, because you'll end up with a mess like what I have. And but that comes with having a YouTube channel too, having lots of comparisons and wanting, like, say, to like the Pilot Metropolitans are nice pens, but for me they're not my favorite, but I hang on to them anyway. And actually I do love the cursive, I guess it's a CM. Yeah, it's like a little stub that they make for those now, and so that kind of shifted my opinion of those pens too. But that same nib will go on a Pilot Prera, and it'll go on a Pilot Kakuno. So I kind of like the pen bodies maybe a little better on the demonstrator pens. There we go with the demonstrators again. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for the meat of the video. Although that's going to drive me crazy, because you know, I have like one that didn't get accounted for properly. Either it's a piston, a converter, an eyedropper. It's not a dip pen, so it's got to be one of those three, because I didn't have any cartridge-only pens in this. I have several cartridge-only pens, but I want to love them, but I don't, because a lot of times when I pop a cartridge into a cartridge-only pen, it won't write. And here I am, 9 years, you know, I know what to do, I know where to go for help, and I know the tricks, but oh, that irritates me if I pop in a cartridge and it won't write. And it doesn't seem to happen like with Lamys. It just seems to happen with little ones that take the standard short cartridges. And darn it, you know, So I'm very hesitant about getting anything that costs anything at all that's like a cartridge, because I don't know if I'm jinxed or what. Okay, I'll figure out where that one math, discrepancy is, I hope. And I'll try to put this. I had an avalanche earlier. I knocked over the tripod. So I promised I'd mention what's going on here. This was just this morning, believe it or not. But yeah, I've got something called trigger finger, but it isn't what it sounds like. And I didn't realize. I'd been dealing with it for a long time with my index finger. It would kind of lock a little and it would be kind of startling, like, hey, what's going on? But then last week I started to notice that it was sore and it felt like it was swollen, even though I couldn't see visually any swelling, but it wouldn't take much swelling on a tiny little finger to hurt. And so I just I started to check into what was going on. So this little thing, I have to keep taking it off though, because it says that not to just leave it on for, I think it's like 15 minutes of each hour. You need to have some motion, and make sure too that it's not on too tight. But that thing is really helping. It's just a little like a finger splint. Oh my goodness. And I thought that was bad enough. But then this morning I hurt my thumb right in, I'll show you on the one that isn't, right in there. It just felt like, oh my gosh. And I didn't even do anything. Like I felt like I didn't, it was just, Manuel said, what did you do? Because he knows I'm running around doing all kinds of stuff. And I said, I was putting on my shoe, for Pete's sake, and I was sitting down. I didn't fall into the laundry hamper this time. But we went and so I'm a hot mess because we got our shots today, our flu and COVID shot. And I picked this up because I thought, I think that would be a good idea, because every time I'd go to bend it, it would hurt. And this is super comfortable. And I have taken it off to make sure I'm not cutting. What it has a nice stabilizing thing. But I mean, I'm not into this kind of thing. I don't want to be wearing braces, and I don't want pain in my finger and my thumb. But anyway, it has really, really irked me on writing. Writing letters, writing anything. And I will say, though, the Lamy Safari is the most comfortable pen for me to write with right now, because I've got full motion over here, and I got right about to there with this one, so it's got a ways to go. They say it's a ligament problem, and I've never heard of it, but I will say that something was going on for several months, and I just kept thinking, well, I guess I'm overdoing it, which is probably true. So I'll have to take care of it and, make sure that it doesn't get worse, which is really hard for someone that like types and handwrites constantly. So thank goodness I can read, because, I don't want to go crazy, but I thought that I better have these things, because if I go out and start doing the lawn, I want to make sure that I don't strain it anymore. And right now I don't need to anyway, but oh dear, that's totally off topic. But have you ever done this? If you have a large collection, which, it's all very subjective, what's large or small. But if you do have a collection that you consider large, have you ever thought about what your top 20 or your top 40 would be? I found it super interesting. At the same time, I got a little twitchy because I don't want to let go of anything. Not right now. Although I'm eyeballing at least 5 or 6 pens for what I would call quarantine, where I maybe give it a little bit longer, but then I'm going to be looking for new homes, because I don't really want to have a really nice pen like the Pilot Vanishing Point just sitting there. And I've retried my Platinum 3776 Nice one, the clear one. I just really want to love that one, but Again, I haven't found the ink for it then, because I don't, and it's a broad nib, but it's not really, not in my world. So things like that. But I think it's all in fun, and not just fun, but practical too, to be figuring out, which ones can go on, because when I go on, nobody's going to know what's worth what, and I don't have any idea what would happen to my fountain pens, and so. Maybe it would be better not to have 200. Someone had to, not can or whatever, do something with. Okay, I think that's the end of the video. But I do plan to review that Levenger, that beautiful Levenger box, because I haven't seen very many reviews on it. I wish somebody would, you know, and so I will, you know, do that, because it's a beautiful box. It's real heavy too. It's going to stay right where it is in the library. It's a classy box. It's yeah, it's made me think about trying to clean my area in here. It's funny though, because really good organization that works for me doesn't always look pretty. In fact, it just doesn't, because I need to see everything. And so that's you know, it's a wonder that I get by with all my pens in those zipper pen cases, but I know, you know, which pen case has what, you know, collection of pens, so it works for me. And I did tag them for a while with the little mini pearl tags, but I don't have to have that anymore. I know what's where. I'm glad that that worked out for me, because it's a real space saver for a large collection. But like with my inks and my ink samples and some of my other stuff, you know, you can see it's messy. But I go back and forth in my mind of, is it practical? You know, do I have to have it look nice, or do I need it? And I really kind of lean heavily on, it needs to be practical for me too. And so I'd like to clean it up a little. The library is much more refreshing to my mind, and my, you know, the visual appeal in there is just much nicer because it's not as cluttery. And I don't consider any amount of books stacked up or whatever as clutter, so. Gosh, I guess I'm talkative. I really wanted to do a video Saturday, but I was in the middle of my, you know, it hurt then. Now it doesn't hurt, but it's a little stiff. So it doesn't hurt, and only once in a while the pad of my finger will hurt. So I am using the brace a little bit here and there to kind of keep myself from doing anything to it. Okay, well, we can meet in the comments if you want, and I hope you have a great rest of your day whenever you see this, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.